Joining us now is the Minister of Education, Dimitrios Nicolaides.
Thanks so much for
Very
having
nice
me.
to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you as well.
Welcome to the studio. We're glad to have you. And I'm hoping we can cover a number of topics.
Absolutely.
But I'd like to start on what we just heard from the opposition there. They're launching a survey of their own to track classroom sizes. You're new to the portfolio. What's your understanding so far about how much enrollment is growing and maybe even how that relates to migration?
Yeah, well, there's quite a lot of enrollment growth that we're seeing across the board. I've been talking, of course, over the past couple months since being appointed as minister with our major school divisions to get a better understanding of where their pressures are, what they need from government. And one of the things that we're hearing again and again are some significant pressures. Having a closer look at some of the population statistics, we're able to see there's a huge number of people moving to Alberta, both from other provinces and from international jurisdictions, which is, of course, encouraging to see. We've been working hard as a government over the past 4 years to make Alberta that beacon of hope and opportunity once again, and we're really seeing those efforts pay off. Of course, that puts some pressure on our school divisions, and we are seeing that, and we're working to keep pace as best we can.
Any thought to returning to public reporting of class sizes? It's something your government drew back from in 2019.
Yeah, it was with the class sizes. There was a program that had been in place, I believe, since 2003, 2004, had been running for about 14, 15 years. And after approximately $3 billion into that program, which specifically geared towards class sizes, the Auditor General found that there was no change in class sizes. So that program had been demonstrated in the past to not be effective, and the government made the decision several years ago to move away from that program. My priority and my focus is to sit down and talk with our school divisions, find out what's needed and where it's needed, and work with them. And when we talk about class sizes, I think we have to make improvements in two areas primarily. Number one, we need to build more schools. And number two, we need to hire more teachers, educational assistants, and other staff. And that's precisely what I'm focused on. The mandate letter that I received from the Premier calls upon me to build more schools in our growing communities. And in the last budget that we just passed in the spring, we are providing more dollars to hire more teachers, more educational assistants, and get more staff in the classroom. So we're working precisely on those two areas to help move the needle.
As enrollment grows, do you revise the funding formula?
Well, one of the things that we've done in the recent budget, we have included a supplementary enrollment top-up. And this is for school divisions that are seeing some exponential growth. And these are mostly school divisions in Calgary and Edmonton and other areas where we're seeing a lot of enrollment growth. So we have introduced a new top-up. So we do adjust and we do make those discretionary adjustments where necessary to try our very best to help accommodate our school divisions that are seeing some of those pressures.
Let's touch on curriculum. We had the ATA on about a week or so ago, and their response was teachers have not had enough time for professional development. They feel the process has been rushed. What degree of confidence should parents have that this process will roll out smoothly?
I think parents should have a lot of confidence that the new curriculum rollout will be strong. We're working very closely with our school divisions and superintendents and teachers and others to make sure that we have the resources there. And we have the tools that our teachers need in order to teach the new curriculum. I'm very excited with the new curriculum, especially the English curriculum. There's some new testing that's happening with some world-class research in early childhood literacy, which will help ensure that we're setting our students up for success in the best possible way when it comes to literacy and reading and writing. As well, we're continuing to look at other subjects. I'll be talking...
There's more curriculum to come.
Indeed. I'll be talking next week about social studies and some of the plans of the government to continue the development of the social studies curriculum. I've already had some conversations with the ATA, with other organizations about the social studies, where we need to go, what we need to do. And I'm confident we can build something that all Albertans can really be proud of.
You mentioned the mandate letter. You talk about collaboration with teachers, with parents as well. And the mandate letter suggests or asks you to work with educators to explore better ways of parent involvement when it comes to school policies, learning options. Where do you take that?
Yeah, I think there's great opportunities for parents to be involved, of course, and contribute. Of course, a lot of parents volunteer and provide so much of their time to school councils, to other volunteer capacities at their schools and with their local school divisions. So the more that we can bring passionate people around the table together to help develop better solutions, the stronger we can make our education system. So we haven't explored next steps on that piece just yet, but I'll be very interested in talking more with some of the parent councils and other groups to see how we can involve them more. Because again, when we have more people at the table, we can make sure that we're delivering a world-class education system.
On the topic of parent involvement, Saskatchewan and New Brunswick making it mandatory that parents be informed when their children change their pronouns in the school setting, change names. How open are you to embracing a similar policy in our province?
Sure. Well, I'm listening carefully to our teachers, to administrators and parents. Obviously, there's a complex issue, so my priority is just to listen to those that are involved and get their best advice.
Is the decision left to you as to whether or not such a policy would be
Sure.
engaged?
Well, any kind of policy change, of course, always has to go through a cabinet process, and cabinet, of course, always makes the final decision on any kind of new policy or initiative, which is standard practice in terms of government operation and making new decisions. So my priority at the moment is just to make sure I have my listening ears on.
We'll touch on one more, and it's a priority for a lot of folks. Calls for the Red Deer Catholic school trustee who put out a very controversial social media post, calls for her to resign. I understand the board has asked you to fire Monique LaGrange. Where does that process stand? What degree of involvement do you have there?
Yeah, sure. So, of course, very disappointing and concerning to see someone provide that kind of association and make those types of insinuations. Of course, every student should be able to feel welcome and included at school. When it comes to the process and next steps, I did have my team take a closer look at the legislation and the powers that the minister has. It's quite interesting. The minister has the ability to completely dismiss an entire board, but doesn't actually have the ability to remove a single trustee. We've taken a closer look at it, and in fact, the board itself, the Red Deer Catholic School Division Board, has that complete discretion. If they believe that a trustee has violated their code of conduct, with which they are required to have as per the legislation, that person could be disqualified as being a trustee. So it's something that the school division needs to explore in more detail.
All right. We're out of time, Minister Nicolaides. Thank you very kindly for coming in.
My pleasure. Anytime.